Welcome back. I'm speaking with Gary Malkin, a multiple Emmy Award-winning composer and producer. Gary, tell us, what was that beautiful music we were listening to?
That was the opening track to my album called The Music of the Great Smoky Mountains on Real Music label. I did it in 1996, and it's called The Journey.
Beautiful. And Thanks. It takes people on a journey. Like, what kind of journey would we expect to go on? If we...
Well, I imagined the whole album is, I call it a film composer's tribute to the spirit of America, because it uses the influence of the early settlers of the Smokies. So this journey track is literally like you're airlifting into the Smoky Mountains, flying over the over the mountains and the hills like a hawk. So
beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so now you also incorporate spoken words into your films and
to the music,
the music, right? And then you call film score quality music. So can you explain what does that really mean, and how does it provide healing?
As I was referencing a little bit before the break, we have a language for 100 years by going to films and television shows for this. Our culture subliminally doesn't recognize it, but the language of film score quality music or film scoring is a language that reflects the panoply of the human experience. There's many, many emotions that we all have. And film scoring is a way of reflecting and catalyzing those emotions. Mm-hmm. But nobody's ever treated spoken wisdom with the same respect or production value like feature films have gotten. And that's what I've been exploring with that work that with the work, like, say, the work that Graceful Passages reflects, or the other things that I've done, and we can talk about that more later. But basically what I've discovered is almost like in a laboratory, when you take spoken word that is spoken with authenticity and intimacy and a true intention to heal, and then you set it to music. In this day and age, people are so distracted. They're multitasking. They're not fully engaged with their heart and spirit, and often they'll just look at something with their mind, but their whole beings will not be attentive to it. Something about using the art of film scoring to create, part the seas of our attention, enable us to hear the words not just with the mind, but the heart as well.
So by film scoring, you actually mean setting the words to music that's appropriate for
customized to the nuance, to the millisecond. Yeah.
Has anyone ever done that for, like, Martin Luther King's speech or something? That would be so phenomenal.
Well, it's done tremendously in film and television composing, right? But the act of actually using the spoken word and music as a modality unto itself. I have a brain scientist, Sherry Florence from the National Institute of Health, who said that this modality of spoken word and music that I'm calling alchemical wisdom is, in fact, an innovation in healing modalities for cultivating emotional intelligence. So actually, it's for those people that avoid meditation, it's an ear candy alternative to someone who wants the benefits of meditation and contemplative practice, but without sitting in silence, for example.
So you could just plug in to this,
yes,
and then you get the same benefits.
Exactly. We're having a joint venture with this project called the New Reality, newreality.com, which is a light and sound device that takes you to theta levels of brain at a whole deeper level. And it takes it even to guided imagery on steroids. So yeah, it basically uses the spoken word and music modality, but it adds even more things to make it stronger as an experience.
And you talked about increasing emotional intelligence. What about just regular intelligence, your mind intelligence? Do you think that might have an impact?
I have a personal opinion about that, which is that this gets into my whole subject about music and media for human sustainability. I believe that the culture is oversaturated with an obsession for linear, rational, intellectual thought. And frankly, I think that we become more intelligent intellectually when we create more mindfulness and space by bringing our emotional and spiritual intelligences into synergy with our mind, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So ironically, we become more intelligent. The way Daniel Goleman talks about it in his books on emotional intelligence and social intelligence, I believe that we become more whole and effective and therefore more fulfilled as intelligent beings because it's more of a multidimensional, rounded intelligence. So ironically, yes, I think that it achieves that, but more by rounding out and backing off on the obsession with intellectual intelligence.
So you sort of get it through the back door, not just like...
No, and that's why I call it sustainable human media for human sustainability, because if we're just focusing on things intellectually, then we're missing the boat on what's truly sustainable: kindness, compassion, empathy, presence, generosity. These are sustainable human values that will change the world if more people adopt them.
Definitely. So let's talk about using sound and music to support transitions in our lives. And so you do this beautifully in graceful passages. You created this CD to help people who are dealing with serious illness or the end of life process. So how could listening to sound and spoken words and music contribute to people's facing these circumstances?
What we've learned is that when we are facing a new life transition, whether it's birth or death or fear of death or loss of any kind, which there's no way to escape that as a human being, what we've learned is that fear twists the DNA. And it lowers our capacity to be present, to actually meet the challenge with all of our intelligences available. What we've learned is that a product like Graceful Passages, whether you've lost a career or you're afraid of losing your mother, and it actually helps you come to neutrality in accepting that something continues beyond the physical death or beyond the loss of the career or the loss of the relationship. And how that is achieved is by parting the seas, like I talked about, of your consciousness, and you drop in. Stress reduces, serotonin lifts, adrenaline drops, your heart beats slower, and suddenly more of you is available to meet the challenge at hand. So you don't have to be seriously ill or at the edge of death for you to come to a state of needed equanimity and neutrality around the things that make us frightened, right?
Right.
So that's what this does, and it's been proven at numerous healthcare environments around the world as they call it one of the most powerful non-pharmacological interventions for alleviating fear.
I'm thinking that so many of us are fearful about so many things, just the economy, wars, and all this. And you don't even need to use this for a transition. You could just use it to just calm down without Prozac or whatever people are taking, and to really and boost your immune system at the same time.
Well, that's why our wisdom tracks and our wisdom films are going to be available on iTunes, and the Hulu.com will be able to have our wisdom films for a 5-minute game changer, literally just for that purpose. Instead of Prozac, a cocktail, or a joint, you can go ahead and look at a short 5-minute film.
That's fantastic. So we only have about a minute left. Tell us how people can find out more about your work and what any presentations or performances coming up.
Yeah, wisdomoftheworld.com is the way that you can learn about wisdom films, and also newreality.com. You can learn about the machinery that also has my content. And what else? Is there any events coming? We're going to be planning an event sometime in May to honor the 10-year anniversary of Graceful Passages, as well as have it be a benefit for the local hospice. So we're looking forward to that. And
when people listen, well, they have to listen and watch. So what's the modality? Is it
download to your iPhone? It'll be available to your iPhone on iTunes soon, Hulu now, and wisdomoftheworld.com will actually have, you can buy CDs and DVDs and also download the audio as well.
Now, when I saw you at this event we were at, there was this device where you actually put on glasses. So
that's the New Reality platform I was talking about.
I see. And so there's flashing lights that affect your brain waves?
Yeah, it accelerates going to theta brain states, and it actually makes you more receptive to listening. These days we need tools to drop us in and make us less obsessed to that multitasking, fast-paced life. And if all you do is sing a little bit in the shower or in the car or stop and listen to your favorite music, you will be adding years to your life, because meditation's already been proven. Anything like a meditative experience, and listening is that, will deepen the quality of health in your life.
Well, let me just ask you about the corollary to that, because what about kids who are listening to hip hop all day long? What do you think it's like damaging, or what do you think's going on with that?
This is my next area of focus, is looking at specifically what children need and based on the genres that they love listening to. Because if they're in joy, you don't want to get judgmental about them with the type of music, because the difference between the generations will always be there. Mm-hmm. So it's really about what will be the delivery system based on the psychographic profile, the demographic profile of who's listening. And I think that EQ tools for kids are going to be a very important thing to develop soon. And I'm going to be focusing on that more.
That's fantastic. Because, sometimes I feel guilty because I like Lady Gaga, for example, but, I don't always want to be listening to Mozart or,
No. It's really about where's your joy?
Yeah.
Joy is that if you're happy, you're healing yourself.
Fantastic. Great closing words. Thank you so much, Gary. Gary Malkin, we've been speaking to today.
Great being here, Beth. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, thank you so much for listening today. For podcasts and more information on my show, visit yoursupernaturallife.com. You can also download the show on iTunes. And my book, Supernatural Home, is endorsed by Deepak Chopra, Ralph Nader, John Gray, Dr. Joe Mercola, and others. You can find it on Amazon or on my website, supernaturalmom.com. So also take advantage of my expertise where I come into your home and help you turn it into a safe haven. I offer a one-of-a-kind service to protect you and your family from invisible toxins in your home that can cause fatigue, allergies, asthma, and other health problems. Email me at beth@supernaturalmom.com. See you here next week. This is Beth Greer.